Welcome back to Well Redneck Academy. I'm your resident Well Redneck, Sean. Today I want to talk to you about a book called Black AF History by Michael Harriot. Um, the subtitle is The Unwhitewashed Story of America. Michael Harriot is from Hartsville, South Carolina, and I was excited to hear that because one of my daughters went to the Governor's School for Science and Math in Hartsville. Michael Harriot grew up there, and a lot of his experiences growing up there are included in the book. It's kind of a personal approach to history. It's not a dry history book, so don't be worried about that, about it being a boring old history book. It's not really done that way. There are a lot of citations in the book, so endnotes where you can look up the original text that Michael is referring to when he cites a certain event or a court case or a person's life. He often gives you citations about those details. So if you're curious to learn more, you can read about it, or if you are wondering if Michael Harriot is accurately portraying what that person had to say or what their life was about, then you can read up on it. But I have to say I was very pleased, and I believe Michael Harriot is doing a great job presenting this history in an objective way. There's good and bad stuff in here, but there's a lot of bad stuff. So you got to keep your sense of humor up when you're reading about some of the most difficult episodes in U.S. history. And Michael Harriot, he knows that probably better than most folks. He includes some little sections from his uncle, telling us a little more about his approach or his perspective on things. Michael Harriot's uncle, he calls Earth, Wind, and Fire the elements, and insists on only listening to them on vinyl. So he's got an interesting take on things, and Michael brings him in pretty frequently to keep things light and keep it real too. One of the things that I was not really familiar with, one of the big things I was not familiar with in the book is the story of the Rice Coast, the west coast of Africa. That was obviously a convenient place for slave folks or slavers to get slaves, because it was, geographically closer to the United States. But another big plus in that area was that those folks, a lot of them knew how to grow rice, which is not a common skill around the world. And a lot of the slaves were chosen specifically for those skills of growing rice, and I didn't know that, and nor did I know that. We've got an idea or a Thanksgiving concept already that incorporates an acknowledgement that the first white folks that came to this country had trouble feeding themselves, right? So the Indians helping to keep the Pilgrims from starving to death. We've heard about that, but what we haven't heard much about, and what I hadn't heard much about, was the fact that the folks in Jamestown were about to starve to death too, until they brought over forcibly kidnapped some folks from the west coast of Africa to come over and grow rice for them. so they wouldn't starve to death, and then also so they can make a bunch of money off of that free labor. It seems to me like maybe we ought to have us a Rice Coast Thanksgiving idea, maybe where we're also, in addition to, being thankful for the Native Americans that kindly shared their food with us as we were being unkind to them. Well, the black folks that we drug over here against their will, they were kind enough to help us keep from starving to death too. Maybe we should express some gratitude about that at Thanksgiving. I think seeing what's going on in America right now, you can kind of be forgiven for thinking white folks always bite the hands that feed them. And I'm afraid if we keep doing that, we might wind up starving to death. There's another book called Exterminate All the Brutes. And that book was the inspiration for a documentary series on HBO by the same name, Exterminate All the Brutes. And if you watch that documentary and you read this book, Black AF History, you start to get an idea that it makes sense for folks to maybe not trust folks that look like me and talk like me. Gray-headed white men have been doing people wrong for quite a while in this country. And I think we need to acknowledge that history before we can move forward together. If you're interested in learning more about this book and dealing with the history that it details, I'd love to discuss it with you. Leave a comment below if you're willing to commit to that, or if you've already read it, what your thoughts are on it, and we'll try to get some progress going. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.